Hello and welcome to In the Art Scene podcast, a place where creatives share their stories. My name is Galina Marquez, and I have another cool story prepared for you today, so let's get to it. Hello everybody and welcome back to In the Art Scene podcast. And this is a wrap up for season 4, and we're doing something totally different today. We're having a panel discussion. And not just a panel discussion, the panel discussion with a very special art group that I am privileged to be a part of. Some of the members you have already met on this podcast, Ezra Land, Corian Wynn, Adelina Gonzalez, Key Dyer, some others you will meet later. Rose, who's not with us today, Gala Simonova, coming in season 5. And Sin, I really, really hope that you'll say yes one day. So yes, we are all in different time zones from California to Netherlands today. So for some of us, it's 6 o'clock in the evening. For some of us, it's 4 a.m. Alrighty, so we will, as I said, start a little bit, talking a little bit about this group, which is called Art Dart. And then we have a pretty cool topic about art community in general and how anyone can make their own little art community. All right. So Ezra, I want you to start because you were actually an initiator of this group. So you're kind of our unspoken leader.
Frightening. I started Art Dart in January of this year, of 2022. And I've been a member of a bunch of different art groups and associations and collectives and collections and throughout the years. And I finally got to a point where I was like, why don't I just start my own with the people I want to be hanging out with? And yes, we're all over the country, we're all over the world. And so we're meeting online. So it's a little bit different, but we're sharing knowledge and information and inspiration and encouragement, support and love. And I absolutely love the group of people that we've brought together. And I'm so excited for what we've done and what we're about to be doing. We have a lot of stuff coming up.
Yes, that's true. Tomorrow, after this episode is live, we are running our first Instagram little show. It's called Summer Love. So you will see what everyone in this group is doing. And the thing is, like the most mind-blowing thing for me about this group is that we all are so different. We're so vastly different in our styles and our mediums, from 3D printing to photography to painting to sticker art, you name it. So yes, and yet we found a lot in common, and we're actually helping each other, on every level, from kicking each other's ass to stop procrastinating on something, to sharing some information about art supplies and materials, and you name it. All right. I have a question for every one of you, and I will be naming you, and you guys, I want to see what you have to say. Do you have any experience with other art groups? Like Ezra said that they were part of different art groups and didn't work for whatever reason. Now they have their own art group. I personally tried some memberships, some artists with big names advertise their membership where you sign up and you have some Facebook group and whatever, but it feels so impersonal. It's kind of like you are signing up for a college class that you don't want to attend. So I usually drop off. So I wanted to hear everybody's experience with that. And right, Adelina, do you want to go first?
Sure, I will go first. I actually don't have any experience with art groups. The only experience I have is in my local community, which tends to be very specific in the types of people that they allow in their networks of things. And I've never really felt supported or, appreciated for my knowledge. So this particular group has been awesome. So I love being a part of it.
Yay. Thank you. Key, you're next.
Yeah. So so I do sticker art, and within that community, because a lot of it is based in street art and the graffiti scene, there's often little crews, so they'll be called. I've been in a few of those. That camaraderie is different. I'm still part of a few. That camaraderie is different than this because it's more just like hyping each other up. You know what I mean? Just making sure we're all kind of on the same frequency. But as far as like formal groups like this, I've been in one or two others, and it's good. I just feel like this one has a little bit more breadth to it. We are actually getting in and getting real technical with each other, which is something I super appreciate about this group. Everybody has a different lane of knowledge, and some of it overlaps and some of it gives different perspectives on the others. Yeah, it's just been really cool to be a part of.
Cool. Gala, you want to go next?
Yeah, why not? So me personally, I've never been the part of any art communities. This is my first one, and it feels really great. What I like about it, it's not a photography community. Because
you're a photographer.
I am a photographer.
You're the only photographer in the group.
Yes. And I was checking some photography groups, and I don't know, it just didn't feel right. But I like to hang out with people who do drawings and some sketchings and all of that, paintings. It's nice. It's nice. It's a little bit different perspective. So I get a lot from all of you guys. It's very inspiring because it's a different medium. So it gives me a little bit different perspective on what I do.
Yeah, and you branched out to a little bit of a mixed media with your photography since you started.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it helped me to go a little bit beyond just photography. And I really appreciate that.
Well, we're truly pushing each other out of our boxes. That is really cool.
That's true.
Corey and Lynn, you're next.
All right. I have been in other art groups, both in person and online. And I think they're great ways to connect with people and be a support group. But right now, this is the only group. After having moved, I don't have a local group established really any longer. And a lot of my friends that I was, have peers with had kind of moved also. And what I find with this group is very unique because everybody is connecting so much. I don't know if it's just the way Ezra set the foundation or it's the people who've come to it consistently and are bringing their individual uniqueness to it. And everyone is very sincere and positive. And I find that really rewarding. And it's wonderful to have a community. There's a lot of space for people to support each other, but it's not always something that you find, easily. So I think it's very beneficial. Very happy to have it. And yeah.
Awesome.
I've been in art guilds through different cities throughout my life. And then a couple of art on groups online. One of them, I wasn't the best fit. Not sure why, but and then I'm still a member of one that we haven't been very active, haven't been active at all since COVID, but so far this has been really good, and can't wait to see where it goes. Thanks to Ezra starting it up for us.
Yes, thanks to Ezra. All right, thank you. Sleepy.
Hi.
Hi. Sleepy, you're the newest addition to the group.
Yeah, and it's funny that we're talking about groups or crews as we go by, I guess you could say, more in the sticker scene, which is where I'm from too, as with Key. But the funny part is I met Key through one of the crews for stickers. So it's kind of full circle. And now we're in a group together. But yeah, as far as the groups, I haven't really had much experience in groups besides this one. This is my first official art group. And I haven't really done much in person, mainly because of COVID and things like that, and moving right before all of that happened. And so, yeah, but as far as the sticker scene, I like the crews because, we kind of like what Key talked about, hyping each other up. and helping out with small things, but it's definitely a different vibe than what the group is that we have here. We share more of like the same mediums and the same like perspective or approaches. And so it's nice in this group to see the different mediums and just approaches and styles. So yeah, that's my background, I guess, in groups or crews.
Well, thank you. Casper, do you want to say a couple words about your experience with different art groups before joining Art Dart?
Yeah, I've had, it's been quite a few years since I've been like in formal groups, and a lot of those were based out of, or mostly like in my experience was music, but it was also like correlated with art. That's actually how I started doing some art, was like flyer design. But it was, when I was in Oakland, we had like a music art record label collab thing. But it was in my early 20s, a little bit crazier. It was more about like the shows and the art shows and the music and all that than like a formal group. For like a professional group, which is what I like about this, because it is like our group is more kind of geared on the nuts and bolts stuff. Like we do get into like bigger overarching topics, but it is also like, okay, here's what I'm up against. Like, have you guys experienced this? And like sharing, like just general knowledge. So it's my first time being in like a group after I've really started like seriously pursuing art. So it's a nice experience, and yeah, I'm too old for that other kind of group. So it's nice to find some people that are kind of looking at it as like I don't want to say just a business, but more like practical, like nuts and bolts, not like, going out and like tagging trains in the middle of the night and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different, but that's kind of my experience. But yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. Sin, can you share something from your background?
I've never been in another art group. The only artist I've known is like maybe I took a workshop or something and developed some friendship with other people in the workshop. But no, that's why this is so exciting to me. And I'm trying because, I'm not really a group kind of person.
What do you think so far about Art Dart?
It's great. It's really wonderful to see everybody's work and to share the same problems or solutions. And I'm enjoying it when I'm here.
Yeah, you're traveling a lot. You're bringing a lot of international experience to our group. Let alone that your art is very unique.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I have a question to Ezra. For the life of me, I don't understand how on earth you are able to match the vibes of all the different people in one group, because I know that you were very selective when inviting people.
It's magic.
Everything about you is magic.
Wavelengths and frequencies, it's energy. I've met a couple people in person, but most of you I know from, or didn't know, I met Corey and Wynn. They happened to stop by my booth at DCon. That's where that sparked up. Key and I know each other from another group, Adelina. We met through my Patreon and through Instagram. I met you through Corey and Wynn introduced us so that I could be on the podcast. Sin, I met because I popped into your Pop Shop Live, and I was just totally awed by the things that you make. Totally awed. And I was like, I need more. I need to see more. I need to know what's going on here. What is this? And then some of you introduced us to others. So I like Sleepy. I knew your work, but I didn't know Sleepy. Casper came through Adelina's suggestion. Gala came through Galina's suggestion. And there are a few others here that came through Corey and Wynn. They were like the first thought I had. I need to start a group because I need to pick their brains and we need to share more information. Like I wanted to have a weekly chat with them. Anyway, I didn't know how to do that. And I was like, but there's a lot of people that I want to have a weekly chat with or every other week. We meet every 2 weeks. And then I was like, that would take a lot of time if I just individually called a whole bunch of people up and said, hey, do you want to have a chat? So I'm like, let's make a group. Rose, I knew from like a past life, like years and years and years ago. Rose and I were in the same art scene. And so Rose just happened to like knock on my door and was like, hey, do you have information about this? Just when I was starting to form the group. And so I was like, I do. And I probably know others that do as well. So how would you like to join a group? And so it all just kind of worked out. And because we are all like-minded in our focus to be loving and supportive of each other in our own separate art waves that we're making, I think that it works because it's all a positive, beautiful, forward, encouraging, loving space. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, that's awesome. Rose, by the way, will be a part of the season 5 as well. So I'm really sorry that she couldn't join us today, but she is a lot of fun. You guys look forward to it.
We have to mention Raina. Raina's not here as well, but we don't want to lose Raina in this discussion. Yeah, yes. Raina is awesome.
Raina is awesome. Everyone is awesome in this group, in so many different ways, and a lot of the mediums that I see you guys are working on, like some things just were discoveries for me. Like sticker art was a total discovery. When Key and I recorded an episode, I had so many different discoveries about, like, this is like a whole other art world out there. So to me, the most the biggest benefit of this group is just to see the diversity that's out there. You're not stuck with just painters or photographers or illustrators or whatever. Again, Sin, kudos to you, because I have never seen anyone doing something like you. So I gotta get you on this podcast. maybe that's what group is going to work on, next. Kick Sin to be on a podcast one day.
Our kick my ass section of our group, where we all like push each other to do what we need to get done. We usually nominate ourselves for kicking our own asses, but maybe we all need to get Sin in there. Maybe we need to throw you in. You're doing great on the podcast. You could do it. You could totally do your own full podcast. So
you can, yeah, absolutely.
Do it.
Yeah. Kick my ass club is something very interesting that we do. I was first like, I think I missed that discussion. I was not on the call when you guys decided to start that, and I was like, what the heck is that? But thanks to you, I finally did my sales taxes. So thank you. All right. Let's go one more round and talk a little bit more specifically what everyone is getting from Art Dart. And I know that everyone has touched on different aspects, but maybe there's one key. Like, to me, it's a diversity, because I can feed the podcast out of you guys forever, probably. This is amazing and very inspiring. So there are other aspects that we're working on. So inspiration, we're sharing each other's work. We're also touching on some business and some technical things. So, and I bet for each of you, there's something that is standing out. So I wanted to ask you one by one. So Ezra, let's start with you again.
I'm having a lot of fun understanding, learning, exploring, and from this perspective, experiencing all of your perspectives on what you're doing, what your lives are, what you're taking from what's going on around you, what's happening within you, and how you turn it into something to show the world. It's all very inspiring. And I always look forward to seeing what else you're up to. Every time we have a meeting, I'm like, oh, what's people up to? What are people up to? And every time someone makes a new post and I get to check it out and I get to repost it, I'm really pumped for everyone. I love seeing everyone succeed. I love sharing my heart and my love and whatever energy I can give to you. I that feeds me, that fuels me. So thank you. I appreciate everyone who's here, and I appreciate how much you all love being here. So thank you.
So you guys don't see because I don't post video, but we're all holding hearts with our hands, showing each other, sharing love. Adelina, do you still have some gas to comment on the question?
Yes. I think that, everything that Ezra said, obviously, it's so cool to like see the different styles and get inspired. Just like everybody's so unique, and color palettes that everybody chooses. And it's extremely inspiring. But I think on the back end of it, I think a lot of the resources that we're able to share, just things that we've learned that we could share with others that kind of kickstart us into things. So if we have a question about, we need a specific supply or product for something. With this diverse of a group, we're able to, put the questions out there, and usually somebody has an answer. And it just saves so much time and energy than of having to look it all up yourself. And it's just completely supportive and a unique experience.
Thank you, Adelina. Key, you're next.
So yeah, like I'm gonna just backwards agree with everyone else. But also accountability is a big thing. We post our weekly goals or bi-weekly goals, things we want to get done by the next group meeting. And that's huge for me. As you know, I have ADHD, I have anxiety. So having those posted and having everyone else see them is important to me. And another thing that I want to get into more is the art hangs. Just being able, again, as someone with ADHD, being able to body double and have someone working like on whatever they're working on, because, like you said, we're all very diverse in what we do. But then just communicating, that's helpful. I mean, whatever it turns into. Me and Ezra ended up having like a 3-hour-long conversation, and it was just awesome. You know what I mean? And like, that might not have happened if there wasn't that space within this group to do that.
Yeah, can you explain a little bit what the art hang is?
So the art hangs, people can post when they're going to be doing art, and then they just sign into our Discord server with their video, and whatever you're working on, people can join in, listen to music, work on whatever they're working on, have conversations, whatever it turns into, really.
Awesome. It's sort of like a virtual art sleepover.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on the accountability thing. It's also a big thing. I think I haven't posted any goals since my baby was born, but I just can't have any goals at the moment. But it was something like the first thing that we started doing, posting biweekly goals and then checking on each other. That's actually, for the big procrastinator like myself, it's a big thing. It's really good help. Right. Gali, you're next.
Okay, so I can agree with everything that you guys already said, for sure. And, there is important thing for me. I feel like we have, it's this group energy, and we all want to, like, everyone to succeed. And this energy helps me to do what I need to do. I feel just supported. It's always the people who want me to succeed, who help me to answer my questions. I think it's very important. And another thing, accountability, but we already spoke about that because that's a big thing for me too. I keep falling like all directions, and then I need to have, it's like an anchor for me where I can come back all the time, because I know I'm falling out, and then I'm like, no, I'm here. Okay, let's go. Like, let's do it. Let's talk, let's speak. And it's very important for me.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, anchor is a good word. Maybe we could have called it art anchor. That will be our next question. Ezra, get ready for that. Why the art dart? But let's finish the round. Corey and Wynn, you're next.
As far as getting out of the group, I guess when I think back to when I first started art in my local areas, like pre-internet, pre-Zoom meetings, we all had to be there in person. There's a few people who would kind of be there and kind of show you the way, like, this isn't worth doing, but maybe this is. And they were invaluable to building a practice and, trying to figure out what it is you're doing, because I did go to art school, but when I got done, I had no concept whatsoever of what that next step was. And having a community is super, super important. So as life changes and technology changes, I think this is just an amazing, similar thing. There's the community here that's very positive, full of grace, and supportive, and everybody does want to see each other succeed. And everyone is very different and brings very different things to the table. And I think that's a benefit. And, we might not all be on the same page at the same time, scheduling or projects or whatnot. But I think it's sort of a great grounding, like pretty much everything everyone else has said on here, all those same reasons, plus I think it's just the community is super, super important. We all are very individual in our work, but yet you need that community, whether it's a local based community or from wherever we may be at the moment.
Thanks. Wynn, do you have something to add?
How am I going to follow that? Yeah, it's really the whole social aspect of it all. It's just really nice to hear what everyone's doing. It gives you that push to keep doing things. I haven't participated in the goals, but I will have to say my last 6 months or so have been like super busy. So my goal is just to get through it all. And but it's great to be able to see everyone pushing each other, and that's the big thing. That's the big thing.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's take a short coffee break. Producing this podcast sure takes a lot of energy. Would you buy me a coffee so I can continue doing it? I would really appreciate it. The link is in the show notes and on our website, intheartscene.com. Thanks for supporting our show. Alrighty, Casper. It's getting harder and harder for people at the end of the list, right? Because you're just going to agree with everything.
Yeah, I was just going to say ditto and call it. Ditto. And to kind of go with the maritime theme, Gallo was touching on with the anchor is kind of what comes to mind is the groups, kind of like a lighthouse in like the night or stormy weather. Because being an artist, especially the last 2 years, can be a pretty solitary existence. I mean, you can go to art school, but they don't teach you a lot of the nuts and bolts, like even if you go to art school. So it's really kind of having other people to relate to and relate that like, oh yeah, this isn't something I'm just struggling with. It really helps with that. Like, oh, I'm not doing it right. Or I'm not, you get the imposter syndrome a lot, and having other people with like, because I mean, when you look on a lot of like, especially bigger like social media accounts, it's like, you're only seeing like the refined end result, or like somebody has a gallery showing, you see the refined end result, which is nice, but it's also nice to kind of see it's like, okay, everybody's kind of just figuring it out in their own way. So that's one of the biggest parts, is like actually to have somebody to like reach out and be like, hey, I'm having this issue, and then people are actually there, and just kind of the community. I mean, all the other stuff that was said, I don't need to retread it, but that's kind of my addition to the sandwich we're building with all this stuff. So
Yeah, totally agree with you, especially on the imposter syndrome thing. And I have experienced personally something like that when I was trying to join those memberships that some other artists are doing, because you join the group, you even like pay a little bit to be a member. And then all of a sudden you feel like everybody in this group already know each other, and they are so big and they're so successful. And you are like, you just popped up out of nowhere and no one is interested in you, and you're just kind of lost in the big sea of big fish. So yeah, having a group like ours makes it really, really personal and intimate. All righty, Sleepy.
I don't know if I can say anything without echoing someone, but I'm just going to say, I think for me, the group, it does a lot of things, but like the top 3 would probably be the accountability. I really appreciate meeting like weekly and being able to just express, what's going on in the week. And then also just the support around it of seeing like other people are going through the same stuff. You're not alone in it. Cause like, I forget who said it, but it might've been Casper, of just the pandemic, and it's easy to kind of isolate. And so it's nice to have that mutual aid and just visually connecting with people. Because that is something in the other like groups or crews, it's mainly online. You don't really see face to face, so it's nice to get that connection. And then like key, I relate a lot, like the anxiety, the ADHD, just the mutual aid and having that, like the hangout sessions. It is really nice, especially with the ADHD piece of just the mirroring. It's really helpful and it helps stay on task. But the weekly groups is really, really helpful once we can make it from work and our hectic lives and whatever else we have going on. but it's really nice to just connect on any level with people that are going through similar things, and then just seeing all the different styles and everything. It's a huge motivator.
Yeah, and I like that you said the weekly, bi-weekly in person. I mean online, but still we all see each other. The meetings. I think it was Ezra. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was one of the criterias for people sticking around with a group, because I know that you have asked or removed some people from the group because they weren't showing up.
Yeah, that in order to have the safety, security, the connection, and the ability for us to really support and really give each other what we need, you have to be active. You have to be part of it. And not everyone has to be on the camera all the time, but it really does help. That eye-to-eye, face-to-face connection means a lot. And it doesn't have to be all the time. I get it. People struggle. People are having a rough time, whatever. And you know, pets show up here and there. We all go through it. It's all beautiful. We had your baby. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we didn't like have your baby. Your baby was there. We weren't there for your baby. We aren't that close of a group.
He had a cameo appearance, yeah. At least once or twice.
We were all there. No. So you know, it's life. It's important. It's beautiful for us to have this deeper connection than just checking in on a chat server. You know, I think it's important. It puts a deeper connection. It puts a deeper importance, and I think it leads to a lot of beautiful, wonderful things happening.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I actually think that this was a right strategy to begin with, to actually make sure that whoever is a part of the group is active and showing up. Maybe not at every meeting, but at least want to be there and checking in and saying, okay, I cannot make this one, but I will make the other one, and being present in the chat and supporting each other. All right, Sin, you're the last one in the chain. I know I made it the hardest for you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I've always been a hermit. You know, it's my own choice. And like Casper said, the last 2 years, you know, the only time I ever show anybody my work is when I would go to shows. So it was kind of hard because I'm making stuff and I have no idea if it's any good or if anyone will like it. I like to touch feelings with people, the things I make. And so being in a group, really, I'm hoping to help me share more of my work and see what other people are doing. That's why I set the alarm so I'd get up for this. It's like, you've missed too many meetings. You have to, you know, make the effort. Even though I try, I keep missing the days. Like today's Thursday, and it's like, okay, now they're meeting on Wednesday. But so yeah, it's the community thing. I think, you know, it's with moving around a lot.
Yeah, you're shifting
really
time zones so often.
Yeah, I don't make many friends. So this is what I always thought when they started having these kind of things on the internet. This is what it was going to be. You're going to share your work with other artists. You could work at home and you see somebody else working with their art, you know, with the hangs. Yeah, that's to me what it's all about, is sharing work together and seeing what other people are doing.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, the highlight of this conversation is that the community doesn't have to be only about one thing. It can be about many things, right? And as long as we all vibe, it's all going to work, right? For the next, whatever remaining of the hour we have, I also wanted to talk a little bit about the technical aspect of how this community is set up, because one of the reasons we're doing this episode is for people who are listening, creatives who are listening, maybe struggling to find a group that they fit in, or they want to feel that like they belong, to give them a little bit like an idea or an inspiration to create their own, or find, find a couple of art friends. So just the technicality of how we make that work, the platforms that we're using, the scheduling that we're doing, and maybe go through some of the channels in the Discord, because, you know, let's give someone a really good head start. Ezra, do you want to contribute?
Yeah, we started with the Discord because that seems like a quick and easy way to have both text channels that you can check into whenever you have a free minute, and it's got the video function without having to have a Zoom account that cuts you off at a certain time, or have someone pay for a Zoom account. Yay. So we started with the Discord, but then everybody's also on Instagram and everybody's promoting each other on Instagram. So we started an Instagram account. We also have a brand new TikTok account. And so we're jumping all over the place social media wise. But our main focus is our Discord and the Instagram chat because everybody's checking the Instagram chat. You had asked earlier about why art dart, and that's because, you could have a dartboard, you could have a dart, but you're not really playing darts unless you're throwing the dart at something. So you have your idea what you want to do. You have to actually put the momentum, put the movement behind it. You have to make something happen. That's your energy has to go into that dart to make it head to, land on, be where it needs to be. And sometimes you get a bullseye. A lot of times you maybe don't get a bullseye. And sometimes, somebody's not paying attention walking by and you get them in the arm, you get them in the leg. They walk you off into some other land and, go with it. You're not just holding the dart anymore. So it was a forward momentum. Let's make our ideas, let's make our projects, let's make our ideas happen, And also I wanted it to be dart is a quick, fast-paced little run, so I wanted it to be like, this is not a deep, dark, difficult, arduous task to come into the art group and to slug it out. It's not going to be a difficult thing. You jump in, jump out, even though you have to be committed, you have to be connected, you have to do your part. It's not something that's going to be difficult. It's going to be jump in, check it out, what's going on, check in, and keep going, so double meaning dart.
I couldn't have said better.
But I love the anchor. I love the lighthouse. I love tether, and a lot of my life goes back to light in the dark. I do my best to be the light in the dark. I bring the light. I'm from the light. I bring the light. That's my job here. So let's all beam together.
Kudos to you. Yes. All right. So yes, we started with, I never had a Discord before, so I had to, that was a new app for me. So that's something as well, thanks to the group that I have experienced the first time. It's actually a pretty handy thing, and I'm sure a lot of people know about it, and more efficient and proficient in Discord than some of us, me. But yes, the way we set it up, so we had some anchor things to begin with, right? Meetings in person on video every other week, goals in between the meetings. Some of the channels, the text channels, were already set up, like work in progress, I believe, some general information, separate channel where we posted kind of a greetings about ourselves with all the contact information, so we can always reference and find each other if we want to email each other or text each other. And then we keep growing the server, adding more things as we go into the meetings and discussing, like, oh, let's talk about business stuff. Let's talk about taxes. So there's a whole group of channels about business things. Then we started talking about different materials or different equipment. So there's a whole like other channels about that. So we kind of sorted out and know where to go and post the question or find the answer if there was a discussion already. So that is how we do it, I believe. And again, Ezra, correct me if I'm wrong. Everyone has admin rights in Discord and can create their own chats.
Everyone has administration, management, all that kind of thing. I think that there are a few things that you can't do, but there are also things that we don't need. So I'm not super technical in it. I also am fairly new to Discord. It functions as if I'm not good at tech. I don't know how I end up doing tech stuff all the time. Yeah, so stuff that I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't think we really need that. It just stays unchecked until someone's maybe like, oh, maybe we need that. And then we'll figure that out. That's another beautiful thing about the group. We're all talking about, supplies and ideas and all these things. And yes, we all come from different ideas and different backgrounds and different, experiences. And if someone presents a question and people may or may not have an answer or idea for that, there's a whole bunch of us that if we don't have an answer, we're going to go Google with you. We're going to go figure that out. We're going to go try to figure it out with you. And so suddenly there's a whole bunch of ideas. Nobody really has a full answer, but you know, you don't have to do all the work. And if anybody else has another experience with some other material that came up in that exploration, they can say, yes, that might work for that because I've done it with this. And so it's a beautiful support and nerdy fun group. But as for everyone has administration and can set things up as they need, and it keeps growing. So
yeah. And in terms of, so we kind of have our core group of people. We're not necessarily inviting everybody in, but we already know each other. We have we started with Discord. We created Instagram account. You created Ezra Gmail account. So now we have a Google Drive where we can upload some images or videos that are going to Instagram. He created our TikTok account that he is managing right now, so he can grab some images and videos and work with that. We are discussing things that we can go and do for public, like the first show that actually starts tomorrow. So you get to see, we get one idea, so throwing out a theme for, let's say, a show. Summer Love was kind of, hanging in the air during summer. So, and we're so different. So each of us is going to grab it and go with it. And you will see a bunch of very diverse works of art that came out of just one phrase. We're talking about whether or not we need to have a website. Maybe not a website, maybe, I don't know, some kind of an e-commerce platform. If we get to that, I can totally see, the t-shirts and stickers designed for the group by the group in the future. Maybe we'll come up with some kind of a art book. Who knows? So there are so many things that just like everybody said, there are so many ideas that are just being born in the conversation and in the discussion that we're just grabbing it and going with it. And another cool thing about Art Dart is that it does not interfere with our own practices, because our practices are so different. We're not setting up some sort of rules. Okay, like this month we're doing so and so, and I know some art groups are operating on that. Like there's an assignment that you need to do or something. We are all living in our own worlds, and we are doing our own art. We're all very different, and Art Dart is complementing it in so many ways, but not taking away from it. So anyone else? We have a few more minutes left out of the hour. Anyone else want to add anything to the discussion, to the conversation?
I'll just add, as far as finding art friends, art community in general, no, this is not going to be the hottest take, but social media, that's where I found Ezard. It's where I found Sleepy. And like, I think it was Gala was saying, there's like a frequency that we're all on. There's like an energy to this group that even though we're all in different parts of the country and world, and even though we all do different kinds of things, we found each other just based off vibes. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to like search hashtags and like feel a little dorky reaching out to people. It's all part of the process. You know what I mean? Some people are really going to accept you and you're going to like grow those vibes, and some people aren't. And like, that's not something to take personally. It's just a frequency thing.
Yeah. Thanks, Key. Yeah, it's a great point. I still feel dorky when I reach out to people about the podcast. But that's how you meet people. You just find them on Instagram and DM them like, hey, I like what you're doing. Let's connect. So that's pretty much how it happens. Anyone else wants to add anything?
I think that a lot of people, the fear and thinking hold them back from so much in their life. If you can just stop thinking and step out of the fear and just, put that momentum into whatever it is that you want to do, you got to just move forward, keep going. Even if you're just flying in neutral, even if you're just like the seagull at the beach, like riding the wind and not actually going anywhere, just hanging there. You're not stagnant. You're not You're not falling backwards. You just keep going, keep moving. So for anyone out there who needs a group like this, who wants a group like this, don't be afraid. Reach out, find people that look for people who are doing what you want to do. Look for people who inspire you. Talk to them. Start your own group. Why not? You can do that. It really doesn't take a lot. You just get a bunch of people and say, hey, why don't we just like hang out sometime online? And then it happens. And then you get a podcast and you're like, yeah, everybody loves each other. Everybody thinks everybody's awesome. So do it. Don't think about it.
Yeah. It only takes a little bit to start, and then it's a snowball. It will grow. And I wanted to add also about our group in particular is that we really operate by the motto that we raise by lifting others. So it is amazing to me how like people who've never, like I've met in person only Gala, probably. I've never met any of you in person, but I feel like I have so many friends who genuinely, like knowing me for just a couple of months on the internet randomly, want me to succeed, want to help me out, want to hear what I have to say. So yeah, that's amazing. Alrighty. On that note, if no one else is brave enough to say a couple more words, let's wrap it up. Thank you, Azard. Again, kudos to you for creating this group. Takeaway for anyone who's listening. I think this is a perfect wrap up for the episode, because I talk usually to individual people, and one of the goals for this podcast, one of the reasons I created the podcast, is to create a community for myself, but also let other people know that every artist has a personal story, and that personal story is going to resonate with someone else. We are not perfect Instagram accounts. We're not those unreachable divas or something like that. We're all people. We have our own struggles, even if we're not talking about it publicly. Sometimes there are places and times when we're willing to share it. So whoever is listening to the podcast should feel like they're not alone in the art scene. So the group is the perfect anchor, again, that word, for just people to, it's actually the group. It's not one-on-one. We all are getting together and sharing our stories and sharing whatever it's a continuation. Like it's been 2 weeks between the meetings, but something has happened, or maybe nothing has happened, or someone is feeling blue, or someone is, I don't know, hyped about something. So yes, that's the reason the podcast exists. And for all of you out there listening, like it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be one individual with your own story. You can share your story with others by just finding even one friend in your neighborhood or online. It doesn't really matter, as long as you connect. Alrighty. Well, thank you again, Azard, for creating this group, and kudos to everybody. Thank you for your time coming on the podcast and having this panel discussion. Hopefully it's going to turn out great, and we're going to do it more in the future. And thank you, all of you, for being in the art scene. Bye.
Loves.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
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 It has been another episode of In the Art Scene podcast. If you liked today's conversation, please give us a good review on Apple, and go listen to other great stories. Check out our website intheartscene.com, or follow us on Instagram at intheartscene for more content. If you are a creative and you want to share your story, shoot us a message from the website or DM us on Instagram. Look forward to seeing you next time in the art scene.